Hello all and welcome, and I am the Realist Philosopher, and this is the Realist Den, where there's no BS, only truth, only reality. 100% of the time, baby! So, in this video, I would like to discuss Angela Merkel, Macron, and Germany and France pushing for an EU army. Yes, it's time that the European Union, which is falling apart, gets its own army because, totalitarian organizations which are falling apart, the one thing they need really badly is their own army to stop themselves from falling apart. Right? Yeah, so Merkel demands a real EU army, a true EU army, days after calling for UN values, whatever that means, right? You don't know what that means. Nice little buzzword there, buzz phrase, UN values. I don't know what that means. And globalist world peace. Well, we know what that means, don't we? Yeah, it means globalism, no borders, and we want an army so that we can enforce that on our member states, right? Poland? You don't want to take in refugees? We're going to send our army down there and make you. Hungary? You want to go against our decrees? Oh, we're going to make sure you don't do that anymore. And we have an army to enforce our wishes now. Yeah, but what is with Germany? They can't seem to get over their need to conquer the world, right? I thought that they were all guilty or something. Didn't they all feel guilty or something for World War II? Oh, we feel so bad for what we did in World War II. We want to do everything we possibly can to make sure it never happens again. And we feel so guilty about all the people we hurt that we're going to open our borders and let in every Tom, Dick, and Harry that wants to come in, most of them between fighting ages of 18 and 34, and 95% of them men. And we're surprised we have a rape epidemic. Okay, so Angela Merkel has called for the creation of a real, true EU army days after stating that only through globalism. They're not even hiding it anymore, are they? they're not even hiding their agenda anymore. We want to have no borders, one big giant world country. But we need an army for that. And who's going to pay for that army? Well, of course, it's going to be all the member states, right? And they're going to be forced to do so. Yes, and United Nations values, which whatever those are, can there be peace in the world? Yeah, we want peace. And the best way to get peace is to make the biggest army in the history of the world and make the world give us peace at the point of a gun, by the way. Interesting logic. What's really important, if we look at the developments of the past year, is that we have to work on a vision of one day creating a real, true European army. Right, no argument as to why. Or what purpose it's supposedly going to serve. What is the reason? What's the justification for this, right? I thought the EU was there to protect and serve the interests of the member states. Oh, no, that's not really the case. Yes. So stated the German Chancellor during an address at the European Parliament in Strasbourg on Tuesday. Speaking at a debate on the future bloc, Merkel told MEPs that the move, which was urged by globalist French President Emmanuel Macron last week. I should have known it. He had a guy that married his mommy. You look like my mommy. I have an Oedipus complex. Will you marry me? My former first grade teacher. Or whatever she was. First grade, fourth grade, whatever. She's significantly older than this guy. He's got a thing for, he's got mommy issues. He's got a thing for older broads. So, I guess that's why he's into Merkel here. Angela. We can't even say Angela. It's Angela. Even my name is hard sounding and edged. It has a very hard edge to it. Angela. Yeah, you're so tough, Angela. Yeah, right. Yeah, so it would show the world that we will never be at war again, and we will never have war again between European countries. Now, that's very telling. That's very telling. She's tipping her hand here. So what she's really doing here is revealing her true motives, that she wants the European Union army so that she can impose her will on those European Union nations and stop them from breaking away. I don't know that she wants to not go to war. I think she wants to have the ability to go to war, to be able to threaten to go to war if these other member states don't fall in line with what she wants. And what does she want? Open borders. Globalism. She said it right there. We need globalism. They're not trying to hide it anymore, these leftists. Oh, my God. So, here we go. Yeah. declaring nationalism must never have a chance to flourish again in Europe. So I just made a 3-part video series on nationalism, totally debunking the idea that nationalism is some kind of evil thing. All nationalism is, fundamentally, is caring about the values of your country, caring about your country, wanting it to remain independent and be able to forge its own destiny, not be controlled by others or be subservient to others or beholden to others. That's it. That's essentially the definition of individualism and having your own individual rights. Okay? That's all nationalism is. And she has a problem with that. Of course, she's a globalist. The Chancellor also used her address to call for an EU superstate. These Germans, man, they want to conquer the world any way possible, I'm telling you. I think some of these Germans still believe they're the master race, right? Yeah, we want to form an EU superstate with tolerance at its center. Boy, yeah. Of course you want tolerance, right? You want tolerance so that the citizens of all these member states won't have a problem with all of these people coming in from various third world countries and destroying your country, right? They'll tolerate it. That's what she's really saying. We want more tolerance. We want to spread tolerance, and we want to have the ability to spread tolerance at the point of a gun, of course. For those who don't want to fall into line through other means. Stressing that Brussels should seize control of the bloc's external frontiers and impose a common asylum policy on member states. Didn't I call it? Didn't I tell you this was all about immigration? See, that's how the left is destroying the Western world, okay? By proxy. Let these people in. These people act as useful, idiot, sort of agents of the state, all right? And, the government ignores their illegal, criminal, violent activities. And in turn, they get all the nice little welfare goodies and free housing and everything. Yes, Brussels needs the power to impose a common asylum policy. Right, yeah, because you got to use the excuse of asylum, because otherwise these people wouldn't be able to get in. Because they're not really asylum seekers anyway, but if they claim it, kind of hard to prove them wrong, right? Good Lord. Yeah. Oh, here's that word again. Yeah, wolf whistle here. We need to understand that tolerance is the soul of Europe. Tolerance can go a little far, okay? Look, I'm not a big fan of tolerance, okay? I'm a big fan of patience when patience is deserved, but I'm not a big fan of tolerating nonsense, okay? And I'm the type of person I don't suffer fools easily. So if somebody's being an idiot, I don't tolerate it. I let them know straight up, you're being an idiot, you're saying stupid shit, shut up, okay? You're not making any sense, and I tell them why, all right? I don't tolerate nonsense, all right? But what she's saying is essentially that the German people and other European countries should tolerate all of these people coming in whose sole goal is to steal from you. That's it. They hate you. They want to displace you through demographics. They want to outbreed you and then take over through the voting mechanism. In another 50, 60 years, all the courts in Europe will be Sharia. Oh, but we were tolerant. Oh, boy. Yes, tolerance is an essential component that makes us Europeans. No, being European makes you European. Okay, I love how she tries to associate what she wants people to be tolerant with what people are. So, yeah, only by being tolerant can you be European, right? So, God. Yeah, so connect their identity as a people to an ideology which allows you, through that ideology, to radically transform the country. And not in a good way. So, said Merkel before making it clear that tolerance would not extend to allowing member states whose populations elected populist governments to maintain national sovereignty over issues that mean a lot to their electorates. Did you hear that? Did you read that? I've got it highlighted here, so it's impossible you could miss that. Merkel said, so before making it clear that tolerance was, so we're tolerate. We want to be very tolerant, right? We want to be tolerant. We want to appreciate, right? We want to appreciate and encourage differences between people. Unless it goes against our ideology, unless it goes against our agenda, right? Then, no, we're not that tolerant. We're not going to be tolerant at all. Really? So, what happened to your tolerance? Well, it's it's a scam, it's a ruse, right? It's just a word we use to get the useful idiot pinheads to go along with us. Yeah, so, we're not going to extend tolerance to member states whose populations elected populist governments. Notice how they throw in the word populist as if it's bad, as if it's evil, right? Like it's a pejorative of some kind, as if to delegitimize those leaders because they were populist leaders, whatever that means. They were elected, right? They were democratically elected by their people to be the leader. What does it matter if they're popular or not? It makes no difference whatsoever. So that's this distinction right there is very clearly put there to, in your mind, see this person as less legitimate than they actually are, right? Oh, they were just elected because they were popular and they appealed to popular feelings and opinions. I don't do that, of course. They're not legitimate. So since they are populist elected individuals running the government, they won't be allowed to maintain national sovereignty over issues that mean a lot to their electorates. Translation, you will not be allowed to keep out aliens from other countries entering your country illegally. We will come in with our army and make you. Because you see right now, they're not able to strong-arm people like Hungary, and Hungary's president, who's a brilliant guy. We need an army to make these people fall into line, right? Yeah. Isn't that kind of totalitarian? I mean, that's not kind of totalitarian. That is totalitarian. So, solidarity is based on tolerance. Oh, boy. Collectivism is based on tolerance, you mean. That's what you really mean. When she says solidarity, people coming together and collectively coming together as a collective to be behind certain ideas and beliefs, yeah. Just that word solidarity, what she really means is collectively. So collectivity is based on tolerance. You got that right. You tolerate bad behavior and the collectivists are able to take over and turn everybody into a Borg. And this is Europe's strength. No, it's your weakness, but you promote it as a strength so that people will fall into line and believe it, the useful idiots. It's part of our common European DNA. Common European DNA, again, more collectivist language. And it means overcoming national egoisms. Right, nationalism is evil. Essentially, nation states are the macrocosm of the microscopic individual, all right? Nations exist in the same way individuals do. Individuals want autonomy. We want to be able to make decisions for ourselves. We want to have the freedom to make our own choices in life. And as long as we don't harm other people, we want to be left alone to choose our own path in life and live a life where nobody is controlling us, telling us what to do, how to live our lives. That's all nationalism is, but on a much larger macroscopic scale. But it's essentially the same idea, right? So why would you have a problem with that? Well, you wouldn't if you yourself were an individualist, but you know, if you're somebody pushing for collectivism and a global world government, it kind of gets in the way. Yeah, so she continued, going on to launch a thinly veiled attack on Poland, Hungary, and Italy. Yeah, right, these are the three countries who are really rebelling against what are really her initiatives, you know, because this is all being spearheaded by Germany with the help of France. It's just amazing to me. It seems to be in the German DNA to want to be totalitarian dictators over Europe. Do you realize you're still advocating for nationalism, right? Just one big nation instead of a bunch of smaller ones, right? And based upon essentially expansionistic ideas and ethnocentric ideas as well, right? Let the oppressed masses in and let them take over because we're so unworthy. Nationalism and egoism must never have a chance to flourish. In Europe, again, tolerance and solidarity, tolerance and collectivism are our future. So yeah, because you need the tolerance to get the collectivism, right? Because to get the collectivism, you have to do a lot of objectionable stuff that people generally wouldn't tolerate unless you ideologically polarize them to do so. And this future is worth fighting for. The veteran German leader's call for an EU army came just days after the Paris Peace Forum, where Merkel hit out at blinkered nationalism and asserted that only through globalism and shared United Nations values. The United Nations is just this, think tank group organization that was also designed to further push the globalist agenda, right? I mean, the EU is kind of like it's like an experiment, okay? It's like an experiment in globalism, getting all of these European countries to come together under one superstate umbrella. And the UN, meanwhile, continues to push for a global community and government. Yes, multi-pronged attacks. Can the world overcome the horrors of the past and pave a new future? It seems to me like you're setting yourself up to repeat the horrors of the past. That's what it seems like to me. This kind of tyrannical response where you're claiming that you want peace and then you want to form this giant mega army to enforce your wishes. Your agenda on other countries seems like a recipe for way more war on possibly a global scale. Yeah, you want to overcome the horrors of the past by repeating them on a larger scale. Talk about a lacking in self-awareness. Following Macron's declaration, that simp, that cuck, last week Brussels must build an EU army to protect the bloc from China, Russia, and even the United States. Yeah, because he wants to get support, right? So let's turn the United States in the minds of Europeans into some kind of possible threat to us, to the whole EU, to try and push, through emotionalism, push people into voting for it. I don't know that that's going to work, okay? Because the United States and Europe have been close allies for over a century. We came to their aid and defense in World War I and World War II. We especially saved the French's ass in World War II. Good grief. I don't think you're going to be able to convince the Europeans that America is their enemy, okay? I know you're going to try. I know you're going to try your critical theory crap, okay? And you're going to try to ideologically program as many people to become NPCs for you, but I don't think this message is going to get across to them. I don't think you can convince them that the United States is their foe. Even the United States. China and Russia you can get away with, but not the U.S. The French head of state appeared to use the Paris platform as another chance to lash out at the American First agenda. I don't get this. And really, if you think about it logically, critically, reasonably, you won't get it either. Let me just lay this out, okay? Imagine a country electing a president who doesn't care about that country. Let's say we elect a president for America, right? And then he essentially says, my biggest concerns are for China. What? I need to work on China's economy. And what's in the best interest of China? Well, wait a second. You're the American president. Shouldn't you put America first? Man, I'm a globalist. I want to put other people first, other countries first. America doesn't matter. You would think he's nuts and you wouldn't elect him again. Yet somehow he thinks that this America First agenda is somehow evil and that message is going to fly. That you could convince people that having an America First agenda is evil. Unbelievable to me. Patriotism is the exact opposite of nationalism, says Macron. Nationalism is a betrayal of patriotism. What? No, it's not. It's just an extension of patriotism, okay? You could say it's a more extreme form, okay, or a step beyond, but it's in no way the opposite, okay? It's exactly as I outlined it, all right? Nothing more. Nationalism is a macrocosm of individualism, and in no way, shape, or form is it an evil. This is some scary stuff, man. And I'll tell you what, tolerance is the road to hell. People who call for tolerance on a global scale, on a national scale, what they want is for you to ignore bad behavior, to ignore evil behavior, to ignore things that are bad for you, both as a person and as a citizen of that country. That should be a red flag right there to you. So let me know what you think of the video in the comment section. Please like and subscribe and donate to my Patreon if you feel so inclined. I have 2 Patreon channels. One is where I produce my podcast. It's a twice-a-week podcast released on Tuesday and Friday. And the other is a monthly donation platform where you can donate as little as $1 a month. My podcast is as little as $8 a month, essentially $1 per podcast. And you can donate. It also has a ceiling, so if you're thinking that I might start producing more content and thereby one month you end up paying more than you expected, never happen, because you can put a cap on just how much will be donated. So there you go. And you can also follow me on Twitter at TheRealist1967. And I am the Realist Philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.